This might have been episode of the year. This was such a banger of an episode. And I don't say this often, but this might have been actually episode of the year. This was actually a really good episode. An amazing episode at that. We had AJ Lee returning. We had Nick Nemeth, aka Dolph Ziggler, returning. We had the Beast Incarnate, Brock Lesnar, returning. We had the OTC, the Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns, returning. We had John Cena, Rey Mysterio, and Sheamus teaming up. We had a new Intercontinental Women's Champion, Maxine Dupree. This show was such a banger. And now, after this episode, we basically have both our men's and women's War Games team set up, so that's pretty cool too. So we have AJ Lee potentially joining the women's team. We have Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar joining the men's team. We had Charlotte Flair also joining the women's team back again, like I predicted, so that was that too. So we basically have War Games all set in stone now, and we're going to get a match where it's going to be John Cena versus Dominic Mysterio for the Intercontinental Championship. And I'm going to get into that later on, but like this show really had a lot to talk about. It really had a lot of story advancements, a lot of new developments. This was a really good show. But anyways, though, to not hold you up for too long, let's just get right into this review and let's talk about what we saw in this week's episode of Raw. But before all that, though, as always, our quote of the day. Quote of the day: give yourself the grace to restart. Even mornings begin again every single day. The faithful love of the Lord never ends. His mercies never cease. Great is his faithfulness. His mercies begin afresh each morning. Lamentations chapter 3 verse 22 through 23. That is your quote of the day. Now let's get right into this video. Let's get right into this review. Let's get right into this breakdown. So we kicked off this week with an in-ring promo from John Cena. And this was John Cena's very last time appearing on an episode of Raw, as well as his last time ever fighting on an episode of Raw, as well as his last time ever in Madison Square Garden. So this was a pretty big moment. This was a pretty monumental occasion. So this was pretty special. And we saw the greatest of all time, the never seen 17, the last real champion, and our current Intercontinental Champion, John Cena. And he made his entrance into the ring, and everybody was cheering. Everybody was losing their minds. The crowd was cheering, "You deserve it." John Cena was dancing. He was pop, locking, and dropping. John Cena was just enjoying it, and he was drinking the moment for what it was. And this was, like I said, his very last time on Raw. So this was a pretty big show. This was a pretty big moment. And the crowd absolutely chanted their heads off, chanting, "You deserve it. Thank you, Cena," and everything else in between. So that was a really nice moment. But anyways, though, John Cena went on to drink in the moment, and he went on to thank the fans for all the love and support. And he went on to say that the champ is here. And John Cena went on to say that for 23 years, Madison Square Garden has let me step foot in these hallowed halls. And this is my last time ever here. It's bittersweet for some, but I want to take this moment to say, boom, and out of nowhere, he gets interrupted by none other than Dirty Dominic Mysterio himself. Dirty Dom proceeds to come out and say, "John Cena, nobody wants to hear what you have to say. Last week, you were handed a title shot just like you've been handed everything else in your career. I have had to fight, claw, and earn everything that I have. So I want a rematch for my championship." And John Cena went on to tell Dominic Mysterio, "If you're feeling froggy, then jump right here, right now." So basically he was telling him, right here, right now, I'm ready, whatever you want to do. And Dominic Mysterio told John Cena, "No, we did this your way last time. Now we're going to do this my way. I want a match at Survivor Series." And Johnson ended up agreeing. But he went on to say that, "I still want a match tonight, though, however. This is my last Raw. This is my last time in Madison Square Garden. So I want to give these people a match to remember, a moment to remember. So Dom, if you want to make history, are you feeling lucky, punk? Step up." And that was that. And after this, we got the Judgment Day, Finn Balor and JD McDonough coming out to back up Dominic Mysterio. And John Cena absolutely got beat down, and he got jumped by the Judgment Day. Then we got the Celtic Warrior Sheamus coming out to the aid of John Cena, followed by Rey Mysterio as well. Mr. 619, they both came out to help John Cena. And John Cena, Rey Mysterio, and Sheamus absolutely cleared out the Judgment Day. They cleared out the ring, and they sent them boys packing. And this basically served to set up our first match of the night. And our first match of the night was a 6-man tag match. The Judgment Day versus John Cena, Rey Mysterio, and Sheamus. But before all that, though, I just want to talk about the Survivor Series match real quick. I really don't like this wasted Survivor Series matchup for John Cena. We've seen John Cena face off against Dirty Dom before. We've seen it recently, so I wanted it to be like something new, something different for Survivor Series. John Cena literally has 2 matches left, Survivor Series and his last ever match. And I'm like, we couldn't get anything more special. We can get anything more meaningful. We've seen him face against Dirty Dominic Mysterio. We've seen him beat Dirty Dominic Mysterio. Why do we need to see a rematch of this? This is literally his last 2 matches, and this is what we're getting. I don't hate it, but I feel like we definitely should have gotten something way better, something way bigger, something more impactful. I'm kind of disappointed if I'm being honest. But anyways, though, we went on to get our first match of the night. And like I said, it was a 6-man tag match. And it was the Judgment Day versus John Cena, Rey Mysterio, and Sheamus. And let me just say, this match was an absolute banger. I enjoyed every single second of it. This match was so fun. We had so many fun and crazy spots. We saw a triple 10 beat to the chest from John Cena, Sheamus, and Rey Mysterio. We got a triple 5-knuckle shuffle. We got a double 619. This was such a fun match. This was such a banger. The in-ring action was so good. This was probably my favorite match of the night, if I'm being honest with you. And at the end of the match, to no one's shock, to no one's surprise, Team Cena, Mysterio, and Sheamus was able to pick up the win over the Judgment Day, and John Cena won his final match on his final Raw, and that was that. And we got a shot of John Cena, Sheamus, and Rey Mysterio celebrating. They were holding each other's hands up, and it was such a nice moment. Seeing those three legends just standing in the same place celebrating, I'm like, man, that's crazy. And it's kind of like an end of an era type of moment. This is John Cena's last Raw. And imagine John Cena's retiring before Rey Mysterio. That's crazy to me. That's absolutely insane. But this was like a end of an era type of matchup. The new talent versus basically the old talent. We saw John Cena celebrating with his boys one last time on Raw. That was a bittersweet moment, if I'm being honest. But anyway, after this, we went on to get an in-ring promo from La Primavera, Stephanie Vaquer, and she was basically going to address Nikki Bella. But before all that, though, we got Jackie Redmond in the ring talking about some. Before La Primera comes out, I want to take a moment to talk about what happened last week. I know there's a lot of questions, and we need to address it. I have questions myself about what happened last week. And I'm over here at home. I'm wondering, I'm like, what is she talking about? Did I miss something? Did something big happen? What is she talking about? So I'm over here all intrigued, and I'm hooked. I'm locked, and I'm like, what happened? Show me the replay. What are we talking about? And Jackie Redmond went on to show a replay of the Nikki Bella heel turn. And let me tell you, I have never sucked my teeth so hard at my TV. I'm like, this is what you're talking about? Really? This is what you were hyping up? Nikki Bella's heel turn? I was like, man, if you don't stop playing with my emotions, I was getting excited too. I'm like, what did I miss? But anyways, though, after this, we got Stephanie Vaquer basically making her entrance. And during Stephanie Vaquer's entrance, she got blindsided by Nikki Bella. And Nikki Bella left Stephanie Vaquer absolutely laid out. And after this, Nikki Bella went on to cut a terrible, horrendous, horrible promo. So the promo basically went something like this. These were Nikki Bella's exact words. I kid you not. Stephanie Vaquer, I didn't come back to be anybody's sidekick. I came back for gold, power, and to take back my division. Thank you for reminding me who I am. You will be giving me a shot for the women's championship. And I'm like, why is every statement you make a question? Come on, Nikki Bella. You should be able to cut a better promo than this. This was absolutely ridiculous. You're a legend at this point. You still can't cut a viable promo. Like, why is every statement a question? Man, oh man, this was so funny to me. But anyway, so that was basically what happened. That's basically everything that was said. And after this, we went on to get our second match of the night, and it was a John Cena Last Time Is Now tournament match. And this was our first tournament match of the night, and it was Solo Sikoa versus a surprise competitor. And the surprise competitor was none other than Nick Nemeth, aka Dolph Ziggler himself. And believe me when I say I popped so loud for this, I was so excited. I was jumping all over the place. I was like, no way, my boy Dolph Ziggler's back. And I was so excited for this. I didn't even think this was a possibility. I didn't even think this could happen. But I'm so happy that it happened. I was so excited when I heard his theme song hit, that entrance music hit. I was like, the show off. Mister, it should have been me. Oh, I was so excited for this. This was such a great moment. This was such a hype moment. And the crowd absolutely lost their minds for the Zig Man. And let me just say, the match itself, this was a really nice match. But I was so mad that Dolph Ziggler lost. Like, I know it's probably the best call. It was probably the right decision. But I was so mad. I'm like, why do you have this man come back just to lose? I'm happy that he was back. But I was cheering for this man. I was cheering for my boy. I had my fingers crossed. I'm like, I'm hoping Dolph Ziggler wins and he advances in the tournament. Even though I knew it was improbable, I was still cheering. I'm like, man, I was so mad that he got pinned and beat by Solo Sikoa. Like I said, it was probably the right decision. It was, as a matter of fact, the right decision, but that doesn't mean I have to like it. I did not like it at all. I was so mad. I'm like, not Dolph Ziggler, not my boy. Not again. I've gone through this countless times before. You get excited for Dolph Ziggler, then he loses. I'm like, man, I'm getting flashbacks. But anyways, though, in all serious, win or lose, I am glad to see Dolph Ziggler back. I'm happy that he made a little return. I'm happy he had one more match in WWE. It was great seeing him back. So I did enjoy the moment for what it was. This man came back and he did not miss a step. He was the exact same show off we all knew and loved. So this was amazing. This was such a fun moment. This was such a nice welcome return. But anyway, so at the end of the match, Solo Sikoa was able to hit a Samoan spike on Dolph Ziggler for the win. He pinned Dolph Ziggler 1, 2, 3. And Solo Sikoa is advancing the tournament. And that was that. After this, though, we got an in-ring promo from Alexa Bliss, and she was basically going off on Charlotte Flair for abandoning her. So Alexa Bliss came out basically saying that, Charlotte, you abandoned me when I needed you the most, when I needed my best friend. Just because you didn't like Rhea Ripley, you left me, you abandoned me, you left me out there alone to get jumped, to get beat up. When has the great Charlotte Flair cared about who likes her or who she likes? I've gone through hell and back for you, Charlotte, and this is how you thank me, this is how you treat me. And basically, she was just going off on Charlotte Flair for what Charlotte Flair did, talking about something. You left me high and dry when I needed you the most. I needed my best friend, and you turned your back on me. So she was basically getting it off her chest. And after this, we got Nia Jax, Flash Legend, and the Kabuki is basically coming out to make fun of Alexa Bliss and basically confront her. And we got a big brawl where they started off jumping Alexa Bliss. Then Alexa Bliss got some help from her other two friends, Rhea Ripley and Io Sky, and they came to back her up. But they were still outnumbered 4-3. And to no one's surprise, to no one's shock, we saw Charlotte Flair making her return once again, and she came back. She helped out the babyface team. She helped out Alexa Bliss. She helped out Io Sky and Rhea Ripley. And Charlotte Flair is now officially back on the women's War Game team, just like I assumed, like I suspected, like I predicted. Anyways, after this, we went on to get our third match of the night, and it was the man Becky Lynch versus Maxine Dupree for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. And I don't really have much to say about this match. It was solid, I guess. It was decent. I don't really care too much for it. But the cool thing that happened was we got Maxine Dupree defeating Becky Lynch with the aid of AJ Lee. So that was that. AJ Lee did make her return. She helped Maxine Dupree win the match. And Maxine Dupree is now officially your new Intercontinental Women's Champion. The big shocking moment to me was the fact that Maxine Dupree was actually able to win. That was crazy. I didn't see it coming at all. So that was pretty cool, I guess. We have Maxine Dupree as a champion now. I don't know what she's going to do. I don't really see too many interesting stories for her, but she is our new Intercontinental Champion. And the other shocking part is that AJ Lee did make her return. And it does seem like AJ Lee is going to be part of the Women's War Game team, the babyface team. So if AJ Lee is part of the Women's babyface team, I'm also going to assume that Becky Lynch is going to be part of the Women's Heel War Games team. So that's that. Look out for that. But anyways, though, after this, we went on to get the young OG, Javon Evans, versus the Reign Gunther. And this was another Last Time Is Now tournament match. And let me just say, you know how some stars take a break and they come back absolutely shredded? They come back bigger, leaner, or just better than last time? Gunther did none of that. Mr. Gunther came back exactly the same, and it was the funniest thing to me. But however, though, all jokes aside, Gunther did seem a little bit more in shape. He had a bit more stamina. He was moving a little bit faster, maybe a step or two quicker, so that was cool. But physically, though, he came back the exact same. But anyhow, though, we got the match, and the young OG absolutely got ragdolled throughout the entire match. The young OG got dominated. He got tossed around. He got beat and brutalized. Gunther came out on business. No jokes, no nothing. Straight focus, straight hands, and straight feet. Gunther put the works on Javon Evans. This was like absolutely one-sided for the most part until the very end where the young OG was able to get a last win, a last gasp effort, a last breath. He was able to have some offense in there. But besides that, though, for the most part, Javon Evans basically just got ragdolled the whole match. And the little moments of offense that Javon Evans did get in there, his high-flying moves, his heavy-hitting moves, they made little to no difference. It was basically pointless. It was basically hopeless. But nonetheless, though, the young OG Javon Evans absolutely put on the show. He showed up and he absolutely showed out. This was such a good match. This man was flying all over the place. And at the end, Gunther was just too big, too strong, and Gunther ended up winning via submission, and he basically tapped out Javon Evans, and that was that. And Gunther went on to advance in the John Cena Last Time Is Now tournament. And I'm going to say it now. I'm pretty sure Gunther's going to win the whole thing, and he's going to be the one to face John Cena in the last match ever. So if it does happen, I told you so. If it didn't happen, I never said this. But anyways, though, after this, we went on to get our main event. And the main event was basically the men's War Game teams, both the heel and babyface team facing off against each other. And we started off with the Vision team, the Paul Heyman team. And Paulie basically introduced every member of his team. So Logan Paul, Drew McIntyre, Bronson Reed, Braun Breaker, and those four men for right now. He basically introduced them saying that this is the best ever War Game lineup that's ever been assembled. And I'm like, man, you're lying straight out your teeth right now. You have Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed, Drew McIntyre, Logan Paul talking about something. This is the best War Game lineup we've ever seen. Stop the cap, Paul Heyman. Stop the cap. Man. But anyways, though, swiftly after that, we got Team CM Punk coming out. CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, and the Usos. They came out and we had a huge brawl breakout. And both these teams were throwing hands, feet, and everything in between at each other. They were trying to tear each other limb from limb. They were trying to destroy each other. And after a little bit of back and forth from both teams, a little offense from both teams, we got none other than the Beast Incarnate himself, Brock Lesnar. He came out and he completely toppled the odds. He came out, he took CM Punk and Cody Rhodes to Suplex City, one-way trip, one-way ticket to Suplex City. He left them boys laid out and he was terrorizing everyone. Then very quickly after that, we got the OTC, the tribal chief, Roman Reigns. And this man, he came out to rebalance the scales. He came out and he went toe-to-toe with Brock Lesnar. And we got the OTC and the Beast Incarnate facing off against each other. And them boys threw some hands, they threw some hits, they threw some punches, and Brock Lesnar ended up having to scurry away, shockingly enough. The Beast went running with his tail tucked between his legs. And I didn't think I would see a day where Brock Lesnar would run away from Roman Reigns, but we got to see it, and that was that. And Roman Reigns absolutely took the fight to Brock Lesnar, and he sent Brock Lesnar packing. And after this, for a split moment, we got Bronson Reed absolutely laying out Roman Reigns, and he was about to hit a big tsunami on Roman Reigns, but Roman Reigns, luckily enough, got up quickly. He hit a Superman punch on Bronson Reed. And for the very last shot of the show, we got Roman Reigns spearing Big Bronson Reed, the Ozilla, as well as some members of the NYPD police force through the barricades, which was absolutely crazy. I'm like, you're out here spearing police officers, Roman? This man has lost his mind, okay? And that was your whole show, and that's how it ended, with the men's War Game teams absolutely trying to destroy each other. So basically, War Games got a lot more interesting. These teams are looking stacked, even though the men's babyface team is absolutely more stacked than the heel team, I want to say. And the women's team is absolutely one-sided. That's no debate about it. Charlotte Flair, Alexa Bliss, Rhea Ripley, Io Sky. Come on. AJ Lee at this point, absolutely lopsided. These matchups aren't fair at all whatsoever. But anyways, though, it's definitely going to be an interesting match. It's definitely going to be an interesting PLE. It's definitely going to be an interesting event. So I'm kind of excited for it. And that was your whole show. That's everything that happened in the show. All the returns, all the moments. This was, like I said, probably show of the year. I enjoyed this from start to finish. And overall, I'd probably rate this a solid 9 out of 10, if I'm being honest with you. 8, 9 out of 10. This was amazing. Maybe even a 10 out of 10. Maybe even a 10 out of 10. But I'm going to rate it a solid 9 out of 10. I did enjoy this for the most part. I enjoyed everything that happened on this show. This was an absolute banger from start to finish. This was one of the best shows we've gotten this year so far. This was really good. But anyways, though, thank you for showing up. Thank you for hearing me out. And thank you for being here. Like, comment, and subscribe if you want to. Like, comment, subscribe if you'd like to. And like, comment, and subscribe if you choose to. As always, it's been a pleasure. I'm out.